Not a lot. Just enough to remind me why I don't watch it. Oh, this is already funny. Just the headline. The list of moves and actions that are now banned from AEW or need to be approved by the company.
Maybe that's why Nash is pissed off, because he went for Brock and Austin and not try to duplicate him.
Well, it'd be easier to duplicate him. You only have to learn 5 moves.
Like you said, and we've all been saying, Tony Khan, you need a hierarchy, and he gets one, and then we make fun of it.
Because he's sitting back there talking about the Brock match, and it's finally we had a wrestling match. Finally, we got 2 guys telling a story. They weren't outside in the ring the whole time. One of them
was he not watching the same match as we were?
Yeah, those games, man. I would say, like, for me, like the best ones, I would say, are like the ones where they try to get a certain like time.
This is my entire IT team right here on screen. Everybody. Let's get ready to rumble!
Well, it's time! It's time!
Hello, everybody! And welcome back to the Nation Network. Oh, he's got technical crap going on here, man. It gets old. It gets tiresome. Too many friggin' things. Too many buttons. All right, welcome back to the Nation Network. This is WrestleChat. I am your host, Vince McSham. It's going to be a short one. I just want to go over some of the stuff that took place on the much-anticipated Monday Night Raw tonight on apparently the Netflix. I don't watch it on Netflix. I have other sources, and it doesn't matter where you watch it. It's going to be the same, right? I've got notes here. I'll refer to those. We'll go through this thing. If you guys want to chime in, of course, that's what this is all about. I may do a more in-depth one tomorrow with Jay, but I just wanted to jump on real quick, as I said earlier in an earlier stream that I would, and just kind of hit the bullet points that I had here. So, number one thing right off the bat is this episode was completely tied into Stranger Things Season 5. I watched Season 1. I was good at that point. I didn't need to see any more. And that's all there is to that. What we have talked about, a lot of people have talked about, is the fact that the new modern day WWE, this is considered now to be the Attitude Era. Attitude Era. Because everything's a fucking advertisement. Everything. The ring is an advertisement. The barriers are an advertisement. If you put someone through a table, it's an advertisement. And now the entire stage and backstage was an advertisement. It is so over the top, and it's nauseating. It's taking away, 100% taken away from the product. I don't know if they give a shit, but that's just what it is. Right off the bat, did not feel like I was getting ready to watch Monday Night Raw. It did not feel like I was getting ready to watch a well-hyped wrestling program. Quite the opposite, actually. Infrared, my brother from another mother. How you doing out there, buddy? So anyway, yeah, that just right off the bat took me right out of it. They had that Stranger Things music, which is very, if you're going to watch an episode of that, then it's perfect, okay? But for wrestling, it just sucked the energy out of the program, and then you have the New York crowd to take care of the rest. And as a former New Yorker, I can do that. I can tell you straight up, New York fans are not that great. You would think they'd be boisterous and all that, but I mean, I'm not a fan of Chicago, to be honest with you, but they have great wrestling fans. I mean, when you have a wrestling show in Chicago, 9 out of 10 times, man, the audience is going to make a good show. They'll take a mediocre show and make it good, and they can also take a good show and make it great. The New York audience isn't going to do that. They're just not. Especially nowadays. The type of people still in New York aren't the same as what used to be there. They've kind of pushed everybody else out. Anyway, that all said, doesn't really matter. It's just not a hot crowd. Now, who knows what they were doing for an hour before TV or even longer before TV. They might have already beat them into the ground with some dark matches of crap or whatever, or maybe if they're just playing that Stranger Things music for an hour, that would do it. Oh, my goodness. We open up with Rhea Ripley and a tag team match there with Io going up against the Kabuki Warriors. I've seen better, I've seen worse, and I'm talking about from them. Okay, so it wasn't their best match, it wasn't their worst match. And I agree with Infrared. This episode of Raw fell flat. Okay, well, I feel better. I'm taking my notes, and I'm like, man, I am just beating this into the ground. I said, am I cynical? Am I just sick of it all? And the reason I wanted to come out and do this first, just get this little out there, is because I know I'll watch one or two other people's podcasts in the next 10 hours. And if they're all saying basically the same thing I am, then I know it's not me being critical and just beating them down. And again, I'm not an AEW person. I won't even watch AEW. So this is not somebody coming from the AEW bashing on the WWE. WWE is the only one that I look to for hope in wrestling nowadays. I like Impact or TNA now. I think they're okay. And I'm really enjoying AAA, but they're only on once every 8 weeks. So they need to get a weekly show. That's the next thing that has to happen to AAA. They need a weekly show. All right, so we have the tag team match. There's a spot in the match in particular where Rhea does the Razor's Edge to Kyrie, and I thought she killed her. I really did. She over-rotated on the way down, and Kyrie landed high on the shoulders and kind of high on the neck. I mean, referee was right there. Seemed like she was all right. She finished the match and took another pretty big bump right after that, by the way. They went for their spot, and Asuka came in and shoved Rhea into Io, who was on the top rope getting ready to do her over the moonsault, got knocked out to the floor. Starts making you think, oh, here we go. The turn is coming. Turn didn't come. Match continues on. A few minutes later, they get to replay the whole spot again. This time they execute it and become the new women's tag team champions. Mediocre response from the crowd throughout the match. There were some moments where they kind of seemed a little bit like they were into it, but most of the time, I'm starting to feel more and more like a lot of these cities they go to, and it's not necessarily the performer's fault whatsoever. I just think as a culture, it's suddenly becoming more like Japan, where they just sit there and watch. Now, in Japanese culture, that's just their way of respect. In ours, it's because we're bored, because we've already seen it, been there, done that, and there's not much left you can do without killing yourself. We'll leave that for Darby Allin. So anyway, we got new tag team champions, and that's how that one goes down. There was a moment, though, in the match as well where after she took out Io Sky, her and Kyrie were down on the mat at the same time, meaning Rhea and Kyrie were both wiped out on the mat, and Rhea's clearly having a conversation with her, and the camera, again, is zoomed in on this, and we're going to talk about the camera more than once tonight. These are professionals. I don't know how they keep fucking this up, but they keep fucking this up. Get the damn camera off of them when they're talking. And first off, you shouldn't be having a conversation. You know, it's supposed to be quick. I mean, Rhea was like literally had an arm over like they were spooning almost. And you could just see, even though you couldn't see her mouth or anything, you could just see they were having a full-on conversation. Now, granted, you got to check and make sure the person's hurt or not hurt. It was just so, the cameraman's job is to get the fuck off of them. Find something else or pull back. And that goes back to the truck. Okay. New tag team champions, I put down here, meh. I gave it 3 stars. I feel like that's probably about where I would leave that match for me personally. After that, we head to the back, and here's where I start to lose my brain just a little bit, and I started texting Jay. You see Gunther in the back talking to Adam Pearce. And Adam says, listen, when you go out there tonight, you might want to learn that just a little bit of respect goes a long way. And, of course, you know right away how that's going to play out, right? And Gunther looks at him, respect, okay. And, of course, he goes out there, and he's got a T-shirt saying, I made him tap like a little. I don't know if they're actually selling that T-shirt or if that was just for this segment. That shirt would only work if you actually had the word bitch on it, and they didn't put it on there for obvious reasons. So his heat's dying down. Okay, when he came out there and walked that aisle, it wasn't like he did after Saturday night's main event. There's an old saying, and the way sayings get old is because people keep reiterating them because they still hold their value. And the old saying is, strike while the iron is hot. The WWE's position is strike while the iron is not. So you've waited so many weeks that now he's lost the burn. It's not what it was. And the crowd, again, it's a New York crowd. That's y'all's booking. It was not well received. It wasn't, there was no, he didn't get the, Dom, when he was getting his heat, now people kind of love him, so he doesn't get the heat like he used to. But back in the day when he turned on Dad and had his heat, that shit was week after week after. It actually got more as time went by. And Gunther's is already on the decline. And it's very obvious to anyone that's looking. So that was the backstage segment. Here we go. Attitude error. Maybe I'll call it the attitude error so everybody understands if you're not like joining from the beginning. Becky comes out for her entrance as she's trying to reclaim the Intercontinental Championship. And in that ring all by herself, she will stay for the next 7 minutes as we go to commercial break. As a performer, how in the hell are you supposed to have a good match when you've been just chilling for 7 minutes with this crowd looking at you, waiting for anything to happen? God dang, that was horrible. I felt for her. I felt bad for her. Well, as they're going away now, I don't know. I have, like I said, different places that I watch the programs on. And some of them don't air the same types of commercials or same commercials at all. There's times where they go to commercial break, but then the stream continues. and they're back in the arena right away without an ad break actually taking place. So during this one, many of you may have seen the same thing. I don't know if this was on Netflix or what the case may be, but they had a fan cam moment. Like if you were in the arena, you would experience this. I don't know that the home viewer would normally experience this. And they were basically looking for the fans that, dressed back in the retro styles because it was Stranger Things, and I guess we're supposed to be back in 1985 or whatever the deal is. And God bless that ring announcer girl. She just had to try and identify the different outfits or the different things people were wearing, and she didn't have a clue on some of it. There was even a good little poster done of CM Punk versus this entity that is from Stranger Things. Again, I've only watched season 1. I couldn't even tell you what it's called or what the name is, but I knew who it was supposed to be based on the fact that I've seen these posters everywhere and these different social media things about the season 5. But she didn't even have a clue. She was trying to say something nice about it, and she said it was great artwork, but she didn't know what the hell the thing was. And then finally there was one person dressed up as Randy the Macho Man Savage, and that she got. So here's all this dead air happening and this failed fam cam while Becky is standing in the ring going, gosh damn it, can we please get the freaking commercials over? Anyway, commercials are done. Maxine comes out, gets in the match, and I think the world of Maxine. I think she is a gorgeous girl. I think she's a pretty good wrestler. She's getting better all the time. Maybe it's not ready yet. I don't know. The fans just don't seem to be into what she's doing. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. This is not the first week where she's done what I thought was a good job, and the fans just don't react to her. And they didn't react to her tonight. So taking the title off of her isn't necessarily the worst thing in the world. It's the way you did it. It was stupid. That's the best I can say. I mean, if you're going to have Becky grab the ropes for the win or use the ropes for the win, either or, do it in a true pinning scenario as opposed to it was like Maxine had an ankle lock and then Becky rolled it in so that Maxine's shoulders were down, but then she grabbed the ropes with her left arm or left hand to secure the 3 count when Maxine could have easily slid without any effort and got out of that pinning combination. There was nothing behind that pin to make it viable or believable in any way. It was the weakest ass pin, and you're going to change the titles on it that way. So that didn't help her in any way, shape, or form. The losing didn't help her any. How she lost didn't help her any. She doesn't go out looking strong in any way, shape, or form, and that's another theme that's going to be approaching here in a moment, too. We cut away for an Obafemi promo. He's got the look. He's got athletic ability. You guys let me know. Does he have the it factor? Because I don't see that. I don't feel it. You know, the first time I ever saw Brock Lesnar, ever, back in the SmackDown days, back with the short haircut, long before UFC, this guy's a beast. I mean, like, genuine, terrifying beast. And I know Obafemi's a beast, man. He's a big sun gun. I'm just not getting that big fight feel from him. Don't get me wrong. If we're going to go down a dark alley, I want him on my back. I'm just saying from a wrestling standpoint, I don't feel it. I don't feel it. Infrared, yeah, I think it is the international feed, to be honest with you. I don't know all the technical things behind it. I just know I'm not going to pay Netflix for anything. We see backstage also Stephanie Vakir is apparently injured. She's got a cast on her leg now. I believe that's legit. Somebody let me know if it's not, but I think it's legit. And then Raquel attacks, which is kind of the part that made me think maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Or maybe they're using Raquel attacking because it looked like she was going to come out and make an announcement. I thought she was going to drop the title or something. But then Raquel just came out and beat the crap out of her backstage. So maybe it was just a prop to prolong the storyline stuff. Could be either one. Now we cut to Ray and Penta in the locker room cutting a little segment. And it's all in Spanish, so maybe it was a foreign feed. I'm like, y'all do realize the majority of us over here speak English, right? Infrared says he disagrees, which is fine. Maxine's ring awareness and lack thereof was the story. Yeah, but it's stupid if you're trying to promote this girl as being a trained fighter now, and she's supposed to be a little bit more of a badass, and you just put a title on her for a few weeks, not very long. Didn't give her a chance to do anything really with it. We'll see what the future holds. I just think that, they haven't done her any favors, that's for sure. Liv Morgan made her return to the ring. Seems like we do this annually with her, where she goes down with a decent injury and is out for several months and then makes her comeback tour, her revenge tour, her whatever tour. Hopefully this time she'll stay healthy, because I love Liv Morgan. Think she's extraordinarily talented. I think her promo skills are right on point. Her facials, all that stuff are amazing. And obviously a good-looking girl. Can't beat that. Anyway, she goes up against Lyra Valkyria in a pretty decent match, I thought. And I'll be real honest, right about this time, nothing against the ladies. I was starting to kind of nod off a little bit because I was just tired in general. And I did not see the end of the match. I've got to believe Liv Morgan is not going to lose her first match back, so I'll go with that. And then I woke up in time for the CM Punk versus Braun Breaker match. So anything that may have happened in between those two, I don't think I was out that long. Maybe I took a little 10-minute power nap. I would have missed that. I can't really rate the Liv Morgan thing since I didn't watch it. What little I saw of it, everybody looked like they were doing a good job. Now we get to the CM Punk Braun Breaker, and as we would expect, it's turning into a clusterfuck where you got the members coming down from the Vision, then all of a sudden you got Penta and Ray and Dragon Lee coming down to cover CM Punk's back, and then all that action pushes its way into the crowd and backstage to never be seen again because it went into the atmosphere of the Stranger Things. That's all they should have done, is just had a bunch of smoke come up from under the ring and then all those 6 guys disappear. Why not? You've done everything else you can to fuck this show up. We go back and forth here. So we have a GTS. Doesn't get him the 3 count. Then he goes for a pile driver, which Braun, it was a combination, I guess, of Braun and Punk both, but it was a very failed pile driver. It was a fugly pile driver. Then goes for another GTS, which ends up going into an armbar. So now Braun's got an armbar on. Okay, decent little back and forth. And from this armbar, which is more of a top wrist lock at this point in time, and I told you we'd get back to this again, Braun kind of sits up while he's still trapped in like a half anaconda device. He sits up, and now he and Punk are eye to eye while he's still got the hold applied on him. Would have been a great visual if the fucking camera caught it. The camera was on the wrong side, and you couldn't see it. And then by the time it came around, the moment's over. I mean, yeah, you could still see what was happening, but you missed it. You were 3 seconds late. Like I said, cameras have been a big issue for them lately. Cameramen have been a big issue. Being in the wrong place at the wrong time, or whoever directs in the truck is just fucking up. Maybe a combination of all. But this is not the first time where they have not been in the right place at the right time. CM Punk applies the STFU, which I enjoyed that. Little nod to Cena. But we all know he's not going to get it. Heyman gets up on the apron. CM Punk comes over. Should be arrested right about now for elder abuse as he right-hand clocks a 70-year-old man. Or at least a 60-something-year-old man. I don't know how old Heyman is exactly. He's probably in his mid-60s. And Heyman drops. Took a decent little bump on the apron, too, by the way. Breaker comes back in, and ends up going, he goes for the spear. Punk sidesteps it, goes through the ropes out to the floor. Punk hits the ropes, decides he's going to do a suicide dive, and he went face first on the floor. I mean, like a brick. I thought he was out cold. I really did. That was an ugly landing. Referee was there within a half second, man. That was response time you would only hope your local 911 could provide. To his credit, finished the match. I won't be shocked to find out that he's got some sort of concussion syndrome thing going on for the next 3 weeks. Hope not, but man, he took the header on that thing. That was a brutal fall. Anyway, he gets back up to his feet. Up next to the announce table, Braun Breaker now has got himself perched on the top rope and leaps into the atmosphere, coming down on CM Punk and destroying the broadcast table. Convenient to do that in the main event when you don't need it anymore. Gets him back in the ring, and now Braun's going to put him away. Hits the ropes, getting ready for the spear. At the last second, Punk brings up the knee, sort of. It's kind of like half-hearted and weak-looking, which brings me back to me thinking he was dazed. I really think that fall hurt him. Because he's normally, I mean, if you're only going to do is bring up your knee and let him run into it, I feel like he had done it a little bit sharper than that. It was very flat. That puts him out. Punk picks him up, executes the GTS. We get a 1, we get a 2, we get a 3. And everybody said... something like that. That's what everybody said. Then the lights went down and Chris Jericho came out. Just kidding. Yeah, that didn't happen. And I'm okay with that. I didn't think he was going to show up. I think he's better left for the Rumble. Of course, it won't be a surprise at that point because then we just know he's coming out for the Rumble. We don't need, I was telling this to Jay, I'm not going to get excited about a 52-year-old making a return. And it might be kind at 52. Isn't he older than that even? I don't see it serving a purpose. I mean, again, if you want to be an agent or something like that, by all means, you got a wealth of knowledge. But in-ring competitor, the last time I saw him, for his age, he looks good. But you also have to remember his style of wrestling. You can't do that in your 50s, man. It don't work. You're not going to see a Darby Allin match where Darby's 50 years old. Of course, Darby probably won't live that long the way he's doing things, but anyway, that's just that was my take on it. Overall, geez, I just didn't see enough. What's the old saying? Sizzle and no steak, or it's not. It wasn't good. For as much hype and promotion and making us think, hell, you're going to want to see this. Ooh, I don't want to see this ever again. I'm going to probably just go back to just waiting for the YouTube recap and watching it in 12 minutes. I've been trying to watch it again. I hate the fact that I'm not able to really watch today's wrestling anymore. It's just so bad. With the exception being the AAA, I've enjoyed that thoroughly. But man, something's got to happen. I don't know if, maybe Triple H needs to not be that guy anymore when it comes to the booking. It doesn't mean he doesn't have to be the chief content creator or officer, whatever the hell the title is. And maybe have a little bit of final say on tweaking things. But you got to get new blood in the writing room because it's terrible. It is unwatchably bad at this point in time. And I'm probably just going to fall back on the YouTube recaps at this point because I don't see anything there. Nothing to watch. Natty will have issues with it. That should be the story coming out of the loss. I like it. I mean, if you're going to try and turn lemons into lemonade, that's about the best way I could come up with. And what would be really nice is if you let Natty be Natty, like you did in the AAA show. And Natty's great at being a bad guy, so let her do it. Let her do her thing. Oh, next week is 2 p.m. That's right. I forgot that shit. What are they, in Berlin or something, aren't they? Totally forgot that. Yeah, I don't know. 2 o'clock, I might watch it. My odds on falling asleep are a lot slimmer at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Well, it is what it is. It ain't what it ain't. If I was going to give it an overall rating, or if I had to say, you know, what do you think of the show on Monday night, I'd probably say something like, so. That'd be about it. I got nothing else. It just, It's unfortunate. I mean, a lot of hype on this. I thought we were going to get better than we got. That's all I got. Thank you guys for checking this thing out. Thank you, Infrared, for keeping me company here. I knew it was a late one, and I know a lot of people going to work in the morning. So whenever you do see this video, drop something in the comments down below. Let me know what you think of Monday Night Raw from January 5th. If you agree with me, disagree with me, and we'll do it again real soon. I might do a fuller recap tomorrow with Jay. Like I said, I just wanted to get something short out here now so that when I see what other people post, if it's all the same, I know I'm not just being super critical. Have a great rest of your night, everyone, and we'll see you again real soon right here on WrestleChat.